The term adaptive radiation connotes a very specific relationship among concepts and observations. It begins with a geographic landscape. That geographic landscape has its history regarding the organisms. They have dispersed or they have been separated among their populations based on changes in the environment itself. So first, consider this geographic landscape in history. Now second, consider that in these various microenvironments, we're talking about different selective conditions, each one having its own composition of predation and its composition of geographic variables, ecological phenomena regarding water availability, and any number of other things. And also the creatures' diets and any number of other details of their lives. The result then being, if we look across the diversity of the organisms and if we were to chart them or graph them just as features, their various bodily qualities, that we would see what's called an adaptive landscape. This adaptive landscape, often depicted in three-dimensional graphs with peaks and valleys, then maps to the biogeographic landscape itself. It's a very attractive picture. Selection being the driving principle, and the history and contingency accounting for a wide number or the wide number of different phenomena we see represented by different species. There are a couple of difficulties with it, one of which especially is that it black boxes two of the prevailing conditions for speciation. The one that it acknowledges and privileges is environmental impact on reproductive success. The ones that it black boxes concern variation and the heritability of variation. In other words, the genetics. Simply put, where does the new diversity come from? During the decades during which adaptive radiation was posed, very little was known about the genetics, and the assumption generally was, well, mutations happen, and the mutation that's relevant, favored by selection. If you have a bunch of mutations, well, one of them is going to be favored by selection, so that's the one that's going to pop up and become the most common phenomenon. This doesn't really gel too well with the matching of features to environment in the way that's connoted by the term niche. The matching up, for lack of a better word, perfection of, the optimality of the creature's details with the environment that this subpopulation has landed in is asking perhaps a bit too much of the statistics of mutation to be providing what is, as is so often phrased, needed.